Good day, everyone. I'm here today to talk about the brand new gameplay reveal for Gotham Knights. We got a new 18-minute video today showcasing a breakdown of how Red Hood and Nightwing are going to be playable in the game, as well as a few new elements that I wasn't privy to before, so I'm interested in it. I want to get my thoughts about what I thought about it, because, I don't know, why not? I'm not doing anything else. So, for me personally, I have been extremely excited for Gotham Knights ever since it got revealed, I believe back at the end of 2020, and I've been patiently waiting for the game to come out, and it's finally going to come out October 25th. But today, specifically, we're here to talk about Nightwing and Red Hood. Now, the gameplay looks pretty solid. It's nothing that really blew my mind like when I saw Arkham Knight or Arkham Asylum or the Arkham series in general for the first time, but it does look solid. I like the fact that everyone has a unique traversal skill. They showed us that the gliding mechanic that you typically had in the Arkham games is different for this one. So Nightwing has this like drone glider that more or less looks like he's able to fly, and then Red Hood has these mystical abilities that allow him to like leap through the air, which I think is a unique and interesting take. I know that's 3 out of the 4 of them now, because I remember from the original gameplay that released back when the game was announced, we saw that Robin is able to teleport, and I believe Barbara's able to just glide like how Batman usually glides, but I don't know about that one specifically. They didn't really delve into Batgirl's wheelhouse in that initial reveal, but nevertheless, this does look pretty solid. I like the way Nightwing fights. He's very acrobatic and agile. He's flipping around the stage, beating up everybody. I am not that big of a fan of Red Hood, though. I'm not a big fan of like ranged or mid-range fighters. I like getting up close and personal when I play my games. That's why most games I play, I'm like a brawler or a knight or something along those lines where, I have to like get up close, dodge, and like fight back. I'm not the best at those things, but that's what I personally love the most. So Nightwing would definitely, between the two of these, be more in my wheelhouse. It's not to say that Red Hood isn't going to be any fun to play in the game, but just for me, I'm not that interested in the whole like mid-range shooting and then going in for like a heavy strike or something along those lines. But he still does look pretty cool. I'll probably try him out, but I'm almost certain from watching this gameplay that he is going to be my least favorite of the Gotham Knights to play as. I had that feeling from the very beginning, but now having seen the way he operates, I think he's going to be my least favorite to play as. And something that is bothering me, but I understand where they're going with it, is that games now, they're trying to clear the UI. So like the screen is trying to be as clear as possible, so it's completely immersive. It feels more like you're just stepping into a world rather than stepping into a video game. And something that did bother me is that there isn't a takedown button. Is that when they showed some stealth gameplay, they were like crouched up on a perch and they just kind of jumped down to do a stealth takedown on someone, instead of it being like how the Arkham games were, where when an enemy was within the range, an icon would pop up and be like takedown, and then you could do a takedown of those enemies. That is what I was kind of expecting, but it looks like the enemies just kind of have this white outline around them that showcases, hey, you can take this enemy down, which is not inherently a problem. It's just more for me thinking of the scaffolding sections, right? Where you're perched up somewhere and you want to take somebody down and you have to notice like this white outline around the character, instead of seeing like, okay, they're within range, is telling me I can take them down. So I hit the takedown button. Now it's like, okay, can I see the white outline on the character? So I don't know, maybe that's something that is optional in the game, or it's more obvious than it appeared to me in this reveal, but that was a nitpick that I did have when I saw it. Something I did really like, different costumes. So you have different armor sets in the game, which that was showcased a little bit in the trailers, but it seems to be more diverse than it was initially revealed. So they show that there are different combat suits and everything in the game that alter your playstyle. Something I'm hoping that they do with it is they go the Assassin's Creed Odyssey route, where you're able to overlay whatever armor look you have over your current preset. So you can have a bunch of different random armor sets on that affect your stats, but then you're able to do a cosmetic change so that you look differently. So let's say I think one of them was like velocity versus like something else or whatever, Gotham Knights. And it's like, let's say I wanted have the design of the velocity suit, but I like the stats of the basic suit that you got at the start of the game. So I'm hoping there's a cosmetic thing that it's like I can overlay the velocity suit's appearance onto the standard suit, which if they don't have it, that's fine. I feel like that's a bit of a loss because that's an issue I have all the time with video games, is that as you're going through the levels until you reach max level, you're just picking up random gear that maxes out your stats to help you get through the game. And then it's like, well, I look terrible right now. I've got all these mixed match colors and mixed up armor pieces. I remember that was a big problem I had when I was playing Elden Ring a couple of weeks ago, is that when I started the game and I was a newbie and I was fresh, I'm like, oh man, this is cool. I want to just like wear like a hooded cloak and, like some armor gauntlets and some pants and like leave it at that. I don't really care for the armor right now because, I don't have anything that looks cool. And then I would die in one shot. And it's like, I have to put on some crappy looking armor because I'm going to die otherwise. So I'd rather avoid that instance with Gotham Knights, but if I can't do that, that's a loss and won't hurt. The game's not like, oh, no cosmetics, 0 out of 10, never playing it. It's not going to be anything that severe. It's just more or less like, okay, I would have preferred it this way. They showed a pre-order Bat Cycle, which looks to be the design of the Batmobile from the Batman, if I'm not mistaken, which that's cool. It's nothing crazy, in my opinion. Like, I think the Bat Cycle from the Batman looks cool, and obviously they would put it in the game for marketing because the movie just came out and everything, but in comparison to other designs for Bat Cycles and Batman-related vehicles, that one's nothing too special. It's just like a motorcycle with like a bat for the headlight. So it doesn't look anything crazy, but I don't know. They're like, hey, pre-order to get, the Bat Cycle from the Batman. It's like, cool, I guess. Like, I was planning to pre-order the game, but like that doesn't seem like a worthwhile bonus. So that's up to you. You can pocket your $5 until the game eventually comes out if you want it. But speaking more of the gameplay aspect of it, I don't like how heavy the combat looks in Gotham Knights. This is strictly because I played the Arkham games and Insomniac Spider-Man. I'm more used to kinetic, fast-paced combat now. So seeing those games at their peak utilize these acrobatic combats and everything, that these characters have those same skills. So like Batman in the Arkham series, he's flipping around, he's going back and forth, but that's heavily based on a counter system instead of dodging. Spider-Man, I feel like, is in the middle between a dodging and counter system. Gotham Knights feels like a dodging system rather than a counter system, which would explain why the combat looks heavier, because you're supposed to just dodge the attacks. You're not supposed to counter them. In Batman, it's like you're supposed to counter and dodge like that. It's supposed to happen super quick, but in this, it seems more or less like you need to dodge roll out of the way and then counter attack. So your movements are going to be a little bit more slogged down, which is a bit disappointing for me because I like the idea of moving around at hyper speed and everything. But even when I was watching Nightwing flip around, it didn't feel like he was moving as fast as I've seen him move in the Arkham series. And I get it. This isn't, connected to the Arkham series. It's different game. Sure, it's made by the same company, but like it's not the same universe. It's not supposed to be connected in gameplay wise or anything like that. So I understand. It's just my personal nitpick of it. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm hoping the combat doesn't feel as heavy and sluggish as it appeared as I saw it in this. When I get my hands on the game, obviously I have my own opinion on like how the gameplay feels, but just from looking at it, I'm a little concerned about how weighty you are going to feel in this. Specifically, it seemed more weighty than it did in the initial showcase. I don't know if it's just because it's been so long since I've seen the first showcase that they had for the gameplay, or if it's just they've gone through changes since then or whatever, or it could just be Nightwing and Red Hood as characters. It could be that Batgirl and Robin are lighter based characters, so they move faster than these two who have a higher density in build. I don't know, but they definitely looked heavier than the initial gameplay that they showed with Batgirl and Robin, which we'll see when the game comes out how it actually feels. And just 2 more things before I end up heading out. Actually, 3 more things before I end up heading out. I wasn't really expecting the Court of Owl members to talk.
Shit, what's he doing here?
I don't know why. This isn't a bad thing. It's just when I heard them say things back, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting you to actually say anything. I don't know why. It's not that the Court of Owl members don't speak. I think it killed their mysticism for me, is that the Court of Owls are these mysterious people. You don't know who they are. They're like these weird aristocrats that run everything, and just seeing mob Court of Owl enemies that speak like regular thugs from like the Arkham games just made me a little bit taken aback. I was just like, this is kind of weird. It's just because I recently read the Court of Owls comic, and like I just have this like mythic, grandiose vision of those characters, and it's like, okay, yeah, these guys are like intimidating even without saying anything. And even when it came to their assassin Talon, he didn't really have a bunch to say. He was just kind of a straightforward, and they sent me to kill you, so I'm gonna kill you. So just hearing the Court of Owl members talk like regular mob-based thugs was a little off-putting, and I think it's something I could easily get over, but as an initial take, it was like, oh, okay, this is a wee bit surprising here. We have Mullet Nightwing in the game. I love that look. I know a lot of people find it stupid, but I always loved that Nightwing look with the mullet from Batman the Animated Series, and it looks like he has that look in this game. Maybe not to like 100% translated degree, but he did have like a mullet style looking haircut, and I was like, yes, I love this design. I'm happy that they implemented it in the game in some way, shape, or form. So I thought that was pretty cool. And last but not least, this isn't indicative of this Nightwing and Red Hood gameplay, but I really wish that Robin was Damian Wayne in this game. I have no qualms with Tim Drake, but like in comparison to the four Robins between Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Damian Wayne, he was always my least favorite. It's just, I don't know. I haven't really been impacted on interesting stories from him. Like, I always like the concept of Dick Grayson, his intrigue with being a circus brat who became orphan, who became the first Robin, was always very interesting to me. And then that he left Batman and was always like the purest of them all and became Nightwing, I thought that was really cool, and I grew up with him, and he's tied with Damian as my favorite Robin. I'm not really sure which one of them I prefer. I would say Robin. Why is no, that's a deep discussion that I would have to really think about. I don't really have an answer right now. But Jason Todd was always interesting. He was very arrogant, and then when the Death in the Family story happened, and Joker killed him in that brutal way, and he came back as the Red Hood, I thought that was pretty awesome, and something that helped sell his character was definitely the Under the Red Hood movie. Tim Drake, the most interesting I've ever seen Tim Drake was in the Return of the Joker movie, where he was possessed by the Joker. So I haven't really been impacted by him with something that was super interesting that made me like his character more than the others. And the Damian Wayne, he's the son of Batman and Talia al Ghul. Like, sure, people complain that he's like a little Bruce Wayne, which I can get that, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I've seen him bounce off of John Kent in the Super Sons comic, but I really like Damian's personality as a whole. He acts like Batman, but he's a little more unruly and a little more cold and calculated at times as well, which makes me more interested in him, seeing his like teetering balance between being the assassin that he was raised as versus being the son of the Batman. And I always found that really interesting. Plus, I think he has the best Robin design, like his cloaked hood with the katana and everything. Peak design. So I always wanted Damian Wayne to be in the game over Tim Drake, and Tim Drake has a more Damian Wayne looking design in this game than he does his own design from the comics. So I thought it was him, and they were like, nah, it's Tim Drake, and I was like, so yeah, I think that's really about it. Yeah, Red Hood Nightwing gameplay looks solid. Hopefully the combat, like I said, it's not as sluggish as it appeared. If they have cosmetic options, that would be cool. Outside of that, there isn't really anything I really had an issue with. So yeah, looking forward to Gotham Knights. It comes out on my birthday, so I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Whether or not I'll be reviewing it on this channel, I don't know. I haven't done reviews on video games because I don't really see myself as that critical of a person when it comes to video games, especially since at least I tend to not hit the bugs and everything that most people do in video games that helps them formulate their critical opinion. Most cases for me, my games run fairly smoothly, and I don't really have those, interesting bits of footage like, you see, like, certain things in the game that, this really affected my. That doesn't really happen for me. It's like I either like the game or I don't, and that's kind of where it is with me. So I'm unsure if I will review Gotham Knights when it comes out this October, but who knows? We'll see. It's a few months from now, so things could end up changing. Anyway, that'll be the end of this thoughts video on the new Gotham Knights gameplay. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you're hyped for the game, if you're not hyped for the game, if you think it's stupid, if you think it should have been a sequel to the Arkham series, let me know. I'm curious about all these different opinions on how the game is playing out. That being said, I'm the innocent villain, and remember, folks, stay innocent till proven villainous, and I'll catch you next time.